We're going to do something a little different today, but a lot more fun. A lot of people want to know, what's the best mechanical two-blade broadhead out there? Well, I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you at the end of this video, you're going to figure out which one's the best, but you're going to know which one's going to leave a big hole. We're going to start this party off right here with the sick broadhead. This thing is, by every means of the definition, just by looking at it, as the name implies, it's pretty sick. It's got some kind of like plastic waxy collar up front. As soon as you make a little bit of contact, it's going to break. The blades are going to slide back and hopefully going to leave a big hole. At least that's the idea. The next one's up going to be the two blade from Executioner Broadheads. It is a razor tip, so cut on contact. It is operated by a little rubber band ordeal, so when it folds out, which is going to fold out a lot further than that, it's hopefully going to leave a big hole. One cool little thing I want to point out about this broadhead, it has different divots on where you can put the rubber band based off the feet per second that you're shooting out of your bow. Next up, we're going to roll on with the Rec Broadheads. These are some good friends of mine. They arguably got one of the biggest chisel tips I've ever seen on a mechanical. It's got a little piece of aluminum right here that's going to hold the blades in place until contact, and then boom, they're going to open and kill. We got a fan favorite right here. This one's been highly requested on my channel. This is the Severed 2-inch titanium. Once again, just like everything else, going to be a two-blade. You got little paddles right here. As soon as it hits a little bit of meat, they're going to deploy, snap this band, and hopefully, leave a big hole. The G5T2, I think this is one of their first ever two-blade mechanicals. They came out with it this past year. Had a couple people ask about this, so we're going to see what kind of a channel it leaves. Last but not least, everybody knows who this is. This is the Rage Tri-Pan. Had to throw in an OG just to see if any of these new boys can hang with it. Keep in mind during this review, we're not looking for penetration on this ordeal because when I shoot the ballistic gel, it's a very unrealistic test as far as what an actual body cavity can take from a broadhead. We're just looking at the wound channel and basically just going to have some fun and see what kind of hole it actually leaves. Uh-oh. I think I went a little high. Yeah, definitely scalped her a little bit, but you can still see. God dang. That's, hold on a second. I mean, you got a pretty good idea of what that wound channel is just from looking at that. I mean, you see, you start up here where the broadhead is and how it opened up on impact and just started making a huge freaking gash. So I just cleaned up the gel a little bit with a torch so y'all can actually see a little bit better what's going on here. So if you look right about there, so there's the collar that was on the end of the arrow shaft. It stayed in there. I can't do nothing about that. But it actually opened on impact and then just kept on going, and you can see where it started to turn to where you can actually see that's pretty cool. You can see where the blades and the tip of the broadhead was. I mean, that thing right there is pretty gnarly. Next up's gonna be the Executioner. Jesus. Look at that freaking wound channel. Oh my God. So went in, blades started to open up right about, as far as opening up, they started to open up on impact, but they fully deployed right here. And God dang, looks like the Nile. Next up, we got the Wreck. Here's the fun thing about ballistic gel. So looking at it from right here, you're thinking, God dang, that's not much of a wound channel. Well, it depends on which way the blades went in. Because if you come down here, yeah, she made a hole. Yeesh. So that one looks like it actually did open on impact. I mean, you got the same channel right here all the way through to the broadhead. Next up's gonna be the Severed 2-inch. Well, I cut it close on that one between the Sever and the last broadhead I just shot, but I got lucky. So if you look, right about yay is where the broadhead fully deployed and kept on going. It almost looked like the channel got bigger and bigger. I'm not sure why the blades are like that, but once again, this is ballistic gel. This isn't a body cavity, so that could have had something. I'm sure it obviously did have something to do with it. But even if the blades were like that going all the way through, you're going to leave a big hole, and that's exactly what happened right here. Next up, we got the G5T2. Sheesh, that one right there is... God, they're all really making huge gashes, which is why I typically run mechanicals. But right about, let's see, we got entry, right about yay, is fully deployed, and it just kept on streaking on. God dang. These two-blade mechanicals, guys, they're just absolutely detrimental to a whitetail's health. Last up, we got the Rage Tri-Pan. Hellfire, that one performed pretty daggum good too. I mean, really, I think this is one of the bigger of the cutting diameters out of all the broadheads we've done today, because it definitely looks like it's a little bit wider than some of the others. But that right there is about the same thing as the T2. Maybe fully deployed just a hair before, if not exactly the same. And then it just opened her up and kept on going. That's just absolutely gnarly. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I didn't see one there that didn't impress me. They were all relatively consistent as far as when they opened, the wound channel that they created. I mean, there's not one of those broadheads in there that I wouldn't take to the woods. There's a fly. And once again, don't be too critical. I know some of you guys had your tape measure out on the screen trying to see which one had more penetration. If you want more penetration, add some FOC. Don't necessarily go too crazy about trying to get penetration from your broadhead. Your broadhead's job is to get in there, open up, and create carnage. It's not necessarily its job to help get the arrow all the way through the cavity. Yes, it does play a role, but once again, if you're looking for penetration, add some FOC. I appreciate y'all watching. If this is your first time checking out the channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for keeping up with me. And there's going to be a lot more broadhead testing later on down the road, not just on ballistic gel, but on actual cavities.